What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another Metalfoes Zing combo tutorial video, and in this video I'm just going to be focusing on a slight altercation to the previous combo that I showed you in the previous combo tutorial video. That combo being one Metalfoes monster plus any 3 Zing cards, at least one of which being a normal summonable floater monster, and that ended you with a Boxia, a Titanic Galaxy, a Herald of the Arclight, and a Zephyr Divine Strike with your scale set up, and you ended with 7 overall cards. Whereas, that just yielded you a +2 to your overall card economy for your game plan. Now, this is just going to be a slight variation of that combo. It's actually going to be the exact same combo, just performed stepwise a little bit differently. The ending board is going to be majorly the same. The only difference is that instead of starting with 1 Metalfoe and any 3 Zing cards, we're going to be starting with 2 Metalfoes and any 3 Zing cards. And instead of being a +2 overall, it is going to end with the exact same board, and it is going to be a +4 overall. You're going to end with 9 total cards to your name, and you can actually generate more cards as well. You could ultimately pump it all the way up to a +6 depending on what you draw off of your Metalfoes fusion effect. Like, say, if you actually draw into Zing Path, that gives you another +1, and then from there, if you draw into, say, something like Pot of Desires, that gives you another +1. You have quite a bit of draw power on the latter end of your combo string after you've already gotten a lot of combo pieces out of the deck, and that's one of the things that's really key about this combo string, and it's something that you really kind of want to know how to do, because even though it is the exact same ending board and you could very well do it the original way, you don't yield yourself the additional pluses, and that's something that you want to know about how to do, essentially. And you do have a little bit of variation on what you can end your board with. Instead of making Herald of the Arclight, you could very easily make Void Ogre Dragon instead. There's a couple of different things and a couple of different scenarios that you could change those things around, but ultimately I'm going to stop talking about it and I'm just going to jump into showing you how the overall combo gets started and the procedures of how you should be taking it step by step. Alright, so for this combo, much with the previous combo, you just need any 3 Zing cards, as long as one of them is a normal summonable monster that floats. It literally does not matter what the other 2 are. It doesn't have to specifically be Chiwin or Jiaotu or any of that sort of nonsense. And for our 2 Metalfoes, you have to have at least 1 Stealen or Silvered. You have to have one of these 2 to make the combo work in this method, because this is going to be in your scale and it's going to get popped out of your scale. And so normally you would search this in the original combo and then Pendulum summon it, but it actually needs to go into your extra deck, but that's what yields you the extra plus. So we'll just say that's Silvered for this one, and then literally any other Metalfoes monster, it doesn't actually matter which one, because it's just going to be a scale for you. So this one is definitely a lot less generic, but actually kind of still just as generic, just because you're just going to be opening 2 Metalfoes and any 3 Zing cards. So ultimately the difficulty of opening these sorts of combinations hasn't really changed. But anyway, moving from here, we're going to be normal summoning the Zing of choice that floats, and then you're going to be playing your Silvered or your Stealen in your scale. So pretty simple, straightforward. Should be pretty obvious by now that you're just going to pop that, and you're going to set Metalfoes combination, and you're going to float with your Swanee that we popped in this instance into Jiaotu. And so your hand still looks like this, and you're going to discard the 2 Zings in your hand, and you are going to go for Zephyr Niu, and you'd either get a floater or Chiwin, depending on what you had in your hand. If you had a Chiwin that you discarded out of your hand, then you would just get any floater that you haven't used its floating effect for that turn. But if you haven't gotten Chiwin in your opening hand, then you're just going to get Chiwin here, and you're going to utilize it as a floater. Because basically you do need Chiwin for this if Silvered is the one that you opened. If it's Stealen, you actually don't even need Chiwin. But if Silvered was the one that you opened in terms of the Metalfoes monster that you're going to be popping out of your scale, you absolutely 100% need Chiwin, because you're going to need to revive it off of Boxia to make the Herald of the Arclight with the Silvered. But carrying on, this should look pretty familiar by now. You're just going to Synchro Summon into Boxia number 1. You're not going to use its spin effect, and you're going to use this Boxia to pop your set Metalfoes combination, and you're going to bring back Jiaotu. And now Metalfoes combination here is going to search for a Pendulum scale that you require. So based off whatever the 1 is in your hand, you're going to want to search the opposite scale. So you have an 8 in hand here in this instance, so we're going to search a 1 scale, because what you're going to end up doing is pop your 1 scale or your 8 scale, whatever was here between Stealen or Silvered, you're going to be popping that out of your scale, and that's going to be something that ends up being relevant for you to be able to Pendulum summon, obviously. But, so, carrying on from here, you activate any of the scales. It actually doesn't matter. I'm actually going to put it over here, just for the sake of cleanliness. As you can tell, I zoomed out the camera and actually changed my recording orientation, because there's just so many cards I put on the table at any given point that, like, I needed as much space as I could get. So, and even then, it's still just kind of awkward for me. But anyway, so you play your new scale. It doesn't matter which one you play, because you're just going to be using this to pop the other one. So that's why it needed to be silvered or steelen, because you just needed it to go to the extra deck, and you're going to be setting your Metalfoes combination again. So you'll set another Metalfoes combination, and then you'll activate your other scale that you just freed up a space for, so now you have a proper Pendulum scale, and then you'll use this effect targeting whatever floater you had or the Chi-Wen, destroying it, and then its ability will trigger after you set Metalfoes Fusion from your deck. So you have Fusion and combination set, and then your floater of whatever you triggered, in this case Chi-Wen, is going to special summon another Zephyr Neo from your deck. So, should look very familiar. The only difference in this situation is that you just end up with many, many more cards. So like that's basically all there is to it. But anyway, so you synchro these two into boxia number 2. Obviously, you don't use its spinning effect in any way, shape, or form. And so you're going to use this boxia here, and you're going to destroy the Metalfoes Fusion. You're going to destroy Metalfoes Fusion, and you're going to bring back the Jiaotu. And so the reason you do this before you pop combination is because you're not really looking for any extra cards to summon. You've already got the silvered, and you've got the 2 Zephyr Neos, so you've got a full Pendulum summon that you're going to be doing with your board clogged, so you're going to be getting the max potential out of that Pendulum summon as well. But also because you're going to be using your Metalfoes Fusion effect to shuffle back into the deck and drawing a card before you Pendulum summon. And the reason you do this is for a very specific reason. It's because at this point, you could draw one of like however many Zephyr Divine Strikes you play. I currently in my build play 2. You could draw one of those, or you could draw Yang Zing Path. You've already gotten a lot of your combo pieces out of the deck in terms of what you're trying to work with, and ultimately just giving yourself another card to work with just right now versus searching one of your Divine Strikes or Path or whatever off Zephyr Neo and then drawing a card is just ultimately better. So just a best case scenario. You shuffle your Metalfoes Fusion back into the deck, and you just draw a random card, and that card is Zephyr Divine Strike. Then what you're able to do when you Pendulum Zephyr Neo is you're able to search Path, and then that turns it into a +5. So we're going to say that this is the best case scenario, and we're going to say that you drew off of the Metalfoes Fusion. We're going to say that you drew Yang Zing Path or Zephyr Divine Strike. In this case, I'm just going to say Yang Zing Path because it is the more likely one, because there are 3 copies of it in the deck versus whatever your build is of Yang Zings. You're going to be playing either 1 or 2 Zephyr Divine Strikes. I personally, like I've already said, prefer 2. So you shuffle the Metalfoes Fusion back into the deck, and best case scenario, you get a Yang Zing Path. So, or a Zephyr Divine Strike. So that's what I'm just going to say that we drew this. Because, like, I'm just doing this for the showcasingness of, like, showing you that these can go pretty far. But anyway, so you overlay your 2 used boxias into number 38 Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy. As per usual, you have your Pendulum scale set up, so you just Pendulum out your 2 Zephyr Neos and your silvered, or your stealing, whatever it was, and then your Zephyr Neo will trigger, allowing you to add Zephyr Divine Strike to your hand. So at this point, there's also the other option you have as well of both of these Zephyr Neos can easily end up in the extra deck, but most of the time in this situation, there's only going to be 1 in the extra deck, so you almost never actually want the second Zephyr Divine Strike, just because of the fact that it's going to be leaving a Zephyr Neo on the board with this combo, because we still have this combination down here that we can pop and get value out of, and leaving the Zephyr Neo gives more value on a following turn because it would search when it gets destroyed as well. So there's these little nuances and tiny little technicalities and bits of technical play that you're able to abuse with this specific string, simply because you open another Metalfoes monster, and it could also just been a Metalfoes combination that you opened instead of another Metalfoes monster. That's something to note as well. But anyway, continuing on, synchroing into the 3rd boxia. 3rd boxia will use its ability to pop the combination and will summon back, in this case, Chi-Wen, because of the reasoning. The reasoning behind doing this is because we have the silvered. So obviously, if you had Stealing, then you would pop the you would bring back Jiaotu, because that would make Herald of the Arclight. Now, obviously, in this situation, you could also just bring back Jiaotu and make Void Ogre Dragon with Zephyr Neo. If you wanted to search the second Zephyr Divine Strike, you could just leave the silvered out here. If you didn't open with silvered or stealing, you're going to end up with just any other random Metalfoe like Gold Driver or Volflame. And in this situation, like searching the second Zephyr Divine Strike and making Void Ogre is very much valid. So like there's multiple different options that this deck gives you. This is just something that I'm actually just showing, like basically the most basic one, because we should already know this combo by heart by now. Because, you know, personally I think that Herald of the Arclight is just better than Void Ogre in general anyway, just because it negates anything. One, it's a watered down Macrocosmos, but it is still Macrocosmos in the essence of like how it functions. So there is that as well. But ultimately, it's just, you sort of get my point. At least I think you get my point. But then off this Metalfoes combination that got destroyed, you get to add any Metalfoes monster. So you can like just add another scale. And so at this point, like I said, we added this to hand off the Metalfoe fusion, shuffling back and drawing a card because this is the best case scenario. So I just wanted it there. But even without this, if this is just a random card, flip over for real, please. If this is just a random card, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. So you have 9 cards, you've ended with an overall +4. But if this is Yang Zing Path, if you did draw Yang Zing Path or Zephyr Divine Strike, and then you were able to search the opposite copy, and as you can see why I'm saying do opposite copies is because ending with Herald of the Arclight, you end with the second Zephyr Neo on the board, and I really like this simply because of the fact that this can die on your opponent's turn, and you can search another Yang Zing Path. Or during your next turn, you can just start your turn by using this and popping it, and then it means that you're able to resolve like another Yang Zing Path before you even like commit to your Pendulum summon or anything like that. So there's little, like I said, tiny technicalities about that. But anyway, so like, but say you did get this card, you just play it and you draw 2 other like free cards, and so you overall end with a +5. So like ultimately, this combo is actually just really cool. It's actually one of my favorite ones in terms of just being able to do this with any 2 Metalfoes monsters. It's something that's very possible. This is just the outcome that ends with Herald of the Arclight, but this is very possible even if you don't have Stealing or Silvered in your opening hand. If you just have any 2 Metalfoes cards that aren't named Fusion. If you have 2 Metalfoes monsters or a Metalfoes monster and a Metalfoes combination, this is very possible as well. But if you open with the Metalfoes combination, then you're just going to end up setting Fusion twice from your deck. So there is that. So like your ending board would have a Fusion set, because obviously you can't shuffle it back into your deck during that same time frame anyway. I just kicked the camera. I'm such a fucking clod. Let's see here. Put this back. Alright. Damn it. What am I doing kicking the camera? What is with this life? I need to get used to this recording setup because I'm sitting on my couch and I have this like amazing fold-out table sitting in front of me. I have all this space to work with that I usually don't have to work with on my computer desk. So, like, I don't know what to do with myself. But anyway, that's the basis of this alteration to the original combo that I showed you in the previous video. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. What do you guys think about just overall the Metalfoes Yang Zing deck in general? I think the deck is incredibly explosive. I don't think it's the best that it could be right now. I don't think it's going to be top tier, or at least 2 top tier. As of right now, I think the deck has definitely got a lot of potential once we get the new cards in Invasion Vengeance, but ultimately I think the deck could potentially just do decent enough in its current form, just because of the fact that it's one of those decks that can go first and just outright win the game, and it's also one of those decks that can go second and clear boards with Boxia, because your main combo piece is a card that just clears cards off the board. Anything that Boxia can't deal with, you can easily make Ignister and deal with as well, because you have such a high concentration of Pendulum monsters in this deck, like Zephyr Dio and Jiaotu makes Ignister, Volflame and Chiwen makes Ignister, like a bunch of different little things like that. Like Titanic Galaxy is just a boss-ass card. You're playing one of the only decks in the format that has a legal Pot of Avarice, and a searchable Solemn Judgment or / Infernity Barrier. But then we just get more Infernity Barriers next set, which makes the deck inherently more consistent as well, because those Infernity Barriers have Yang Zing in their name. So, like, overall, many things change once Invasion of Vengeance comes out. But ultimately, I digress. As I've already said, let me know what you guys think about this combo video, these combo tutorials, and if you want to see more of these combo tutorials with differing outcomes and things like that in the comments down below, with different starting hands, different, like, overall just nonsense. I mean, you can easily pump this up to 4 negations with more specific hands if you want to see what those are. Definitely just drop a like, all that sort of nonsense. Just, you know, just give me feedback. I'm interested in the feedback. I want to hear the feedback, you know. that's a big part of this channel, is that I actually want to hear what you guys think. And if people don't like what I do, I usually don't do it again. If you haven't noticed, that's kind of a recurring theme, is that if people don't like something, I usually tend to not do it again, ever. But anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Again, for the upteenth time, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And as always, guys, take care.